Hey, my loves, welcome back to... Why you laugh?
That look.
Don't do me like that. Stop. Hey, my loves, welcome back to our channel. We are here. We're talking all things Married at First Sight, Season 12, Episode
8.
Okay, I'm back with my boo thing, Mr. Joe. And I guess we are coming through and talking about this episode. So... this was a good episode, I think, because we got to see everybody interact with their friends. And I felt like everybody's...
Well, kind of.
Well, kind of. You're right. Yeah. You're right. Not everybody.
Not everybody. And it was like two friends because they doing the pandemic thing.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So it was limited. But they were trying to get everybody, I guess, to come through with their peoples or whatever the case may be. So we figured we would talk today, couple by couple, and just get down to the nitty gritty. So I guess we could start with Clara and Ryan because to me, they're the least problematic right now.
Which is what I've been saying.
They really are, though.
Which is what I've been saying all season long.
But
and
they're the
y'all
least.
See what I'm saying.
But they're the least problematic because nobody wants to talk about the issue.
That's also true. But that was part of my reasoning. That's why I said that they would make it to the end and stay together. You did say that.
So Clara and Ryan are not intimate. She definitely confirmed that when they were all sitting.
They're not having intercourse, but
they doing
something,
which is weird to say on TV. Like it sounds weird when adults say we're not doing this, but we're doing a whole lot of that. Yeah. It's just like you're an adult.
Yeah, cause yeah. Cause I feel like she's just trying to say that she's tired of giving fellatio.
That's exactly her necktie, you know her back tie, her knees is all broke out and can't do nothing else with.
What else? You know what I mean? Like she like we intimate, we doing stuff.
Or maybe he's a pleaser.
Whatever.
He don't give you pleaser.
No, not at all.
He don't give me that either. Maybe he never had sex before.
No. She ain't say that. She just said that.
I'm just saying.
We would have heard that.
Maybe that's the catch.
We would have heard that, and I think the situation is just simply like he's uncomfortable with going there with her, because he doesn't really know her.
Yeah, because she spoke about that. Well, he spoke about that when they were all the guys hung out. He said that like he's slow to trust people for fear that somebody will do something wrong, I guess. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? So I do understand I actually really understand where he's coming from. Like, you know what I mean? However.
And we've seen it before. This is only so perplexing to people because it's a guy. Because people have this misnomer that every guy just want to hump like a rabbit.
You know what though?
And it's just not true. It's just not true. Like the same way that if this was a woman who just says, I don't know you yet, I want to take it slow, nobody would bat an eye and this wouldn't be a topic. But because it's a man, everybody's like, what's going on? I wonder what's wrong.
You're absolutely
nothing's wrong.
Right.
He's human.
You're absolutely right because I think it's weird.
Yeah.
I think it's weird.
It's not.
And I also think that her idea might be as having dealt with people and felt she might not feel as desirable because she gauges it by physical contact. Like
I don't think she doesn't require a deep level of intimacy to be intimate. I think
yes, right, which is what I'm trying to get at, I guess. Like, you know what I mean? It don't take them a lot. But the point we're trying to make is that they were the least bit problematic this week. And to me, they're, you know what? They plugging away. He definitely she said he had this moment where they were at a friend's party and he didn't want to take a Jell-O shot. Yeah. And the friends kept asking them. And she was like, they just were doing it because they were just being hospitable. And that's what they do when they're at a party. And he got kind of like curt with her friends, like, and just like, she
didn't like that he kind of shut down because this is a foreign space for him. And he also probably feels like this, I don't know, I'm not into what y'all do. Which is very clear to me. It's very clear that
it's very clear that half these motherfuckers ain't really into what they spouses do.
Yes. And so this is a running theme, and so I wasn't really surprised by that because I also am getting, and they talk about this in conversations with each other, that there's a lot of appeasing going on. Like, they're doing stuff just to appease the other.
Oh, God.
Oh,
yes.
I don't really drink, but she drink all the time. So you know, I try to keep
but
up.
They
say
that,
stuff
though,
like that a lot.
Because if you're being social, like, I don't want, if I'm not drinking, I don't want Joe to drink.
No.
So I mean,
in the sense of like, this is their lifestyle, and I'm just going along with it.
Yeah.
Like if you always go out, you know what I mean? If you always want to go out, and I'm just like, I don't like going out, but I go every now and then.
Right.
Like, that's a issue, and I think that right now everybody is speaking about it like it's a very small issue, and it's not.
It's not an issue. Like, if you don't go out on, like, if you don't drink all the time and you with somebody and they partying and you want to party with them, that's not a problem.
No, the issue is constantly appeasing your spouse. Like, you need to have a
boundary.
No, you need to have a motion. You need to have a well-oiled machine at some point, right? You can't always just be going along to get along. You know, you guys gotta have you know what I'm saying? Like, we work because we like a lot of the same things. We kind of have the same vibe as far as going out and staying in, and where we eat and how we eat and how we look and da-da-da-da, right? You can't just constantly just go along. You know what I mean?
No,
there's enough obstacles in relationships to where there has to be some type of built-in chemistry. There has to be something that is there that you don't have to work at. So if you from the rip always having to work at appeasing them in every aspect of life, you bound to drizzle.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what's happening. I think that
everybody's doing it. Everybody is doing it.
All right, I ain't gonna fight. I don't really think necessarily that is what's happening. For example, Brianna and Vincent. I think that she is coming through as her authentic self, speaking about things how she actually would, saying things how she actually would.
Vincent is appeasing her. He always looks like he's biting his tongue. Think about that. And Jazz, you said that when we was watching. He always looks like, I'm about to say something and I'm not going to say it.
I'm going to say this, though. I'd rather him be that guy than the guy that blows a casket, right?
That guy blows a casket because he's constantly holding it in.
I'm saying that every little thing. If you're thinking 5 times before you speak, or you understand that what you say means things, even for him to walk downstairs and know, he had to check himself. If he is okay with doing internal checks and balances despite the fact that he is upset about something, to me, that's not a bad thing. Now, I can go further and say he does not communicate enough. He does not say enough of what he needs. And he does allow her kind of to drive conversations and reach a resolution in a manner that she sees fit. But I do see where you're coming from. I'm just saying that I think it's something to a man that says, I could really curse this half of the guy.
Yes.
And I'm just going to sit
every
here,
once in a
I'm
while.
Going to bite my tongue. No, I think that...
every once in a while, if you are constantly biting your tongue, there's an issue. Vincent looks like he's biting his tongue every minute of every episode. Vincent looks like he's constantly walking on eggshells. That's not... If you feel like you are constantly walking on eggshells, you bound to drizzle.
But I don't think... I think that that's something that he carried in. I think that it's something about Vincent where he doesn't... Even his friend kind of alluded to the fact that he's so quick to be like, I'm done with stuff. And that's partially because in his mind, he's had many moments where he was done with the situation. To you feel like, oh my God, he just left me out of nowhere when he had been thinking about this and just not saying it for a long time. You know what I mean? And I think that's Vincent's issue. And that's what the guy was trying to get him to do. Like, be open to communicating with the person that you're with. Because it might be a good thing that you get to say how you actually feel. You don't have to be disrespectful. If biting your tongue means that you call one less woman a bitch a day, bite your mammy tapping tongue.
2 things can be true. What he didn't bring into the relationship is Brianna's attitude and the way that she speaks and delivers things. But he did
date somebody prior that he said he felt belittled by. So he brought in that baggage of that. He did bring that in.
Right. And what I'm saying is that the type of woman that he now chooses to be around on his own, he's he's letting the expert choose his spouse in this situation. Mm-hmm. It's very clear that he's not used to being around the type of woman that Brianna is, right? Whatever that bad experience was, it was a bad experience, and he left it as a bad experience, and now he's triggered by it because he's met with it again. That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying that he seems like he seems like right now he's being met with something that he's not comfortable with, and he constantly looks uncomfortable to me. And I'm saying that is not a good thing.
I don't disagree with that, but I do think that there's something to, his friend asked him, like, you keep bringing up respect. Like, what is respect? Like, what does that even look like for you? You know what I mean? And I think that was such a good question. Like, it's some real solid friends on here. Because that was such a good question. And it's a lot of men holding men accountable for their feelings on here, too. And I appreciate that as well. And I thought that was, like, so poignant because what exactly do you need? Because you might see that she's actually providing this for you, but you got to show up. You know what I mean? Like, without it being like, oh, you're making a judgment call first that she automatically want to say or do something that's out of line or whatever the case may be.
It appears to me that he doesn't trust communicating his feelings.
But what also is what do he mean by a cultural difference? What did he mean by that? He said we have like a cultural difference. He's
saying
you. He Dominican, he black too.
But he's saying like the way the way she's coming at him, like he thinks
it's cultural.
That's what I think. That's what.
I thought you was.
Ain't that what he said?
That's what he said, but I thought you was saying like it's cultural.
No, he's saying I think that's what he meant.
No, that's what he meant. That's what he meant. But I felt like that was a weird thing to say because are you saying that culturally black women are I'm making everything about race this year, y'all.
That's probably how he was thinking.
We have to dispel this narrative that black women talk nasty to people.
Yes, you're right, and that is a narrative. The narrative that like she's gonna the narrative like I don't deal with you hear people say like I don't deal with black women because look how she talking to you or stuff like that.
Like who does that?
So maybe that's where he was coming from.
That was absolutely 50,000% where the hell he was coming from. But my thing is like she's not talking to me in a way that black women talk to people. She's just talking to you
how Brianna
in a way
talks.
that Brianna speaks to people.
And they said that's how Brianna speaks.
And I don't think don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to make this a huge thing because I don't think it is a huge thing. Because, he adjacent. But, like, he's not him. But
him. Yeah,
he's culturally adjacent,
yes.
But, like, I felt like we got to be, and this is being with black people, right? Like, being with a black man, being with a black woman, we've got to write our own narratives. We have the ability.
Well, not that you were with a black woman, like, but she know what she's saying.
Oh, what I said?
You said being with a black man, that could be taken in a lot of different ways in 2020. So we just want to clarify. She didn't mean she's been with a black woman before.
No, I've lived a life, but
Not,
I'm kidding.
Not to that extent.
But like, no, like really though, like I think that like we gotta really be careful about the narrative about like whether or not, like I'm so conscious now of how people talk about things, especially because my spouse is a black man, and how things are like, because it could, like, we can write our own stories, y'all. Just because they said it don't make it real.
Right. And we can't carry it, too. We can't carry a lot of the narrative.
It's a cultural difference. That's not a cultural thing.
Right, that's a Brianna thing.
Literally. She's a boss, bitch, and she has had to do certain things to make sure she get to the place that she is. So, yes, she is, kicking ass and taking names.
And she's not
And maybe she got to be nicer about it. Like, you know what I mean? But
and she's not experienced in the relationship realm.
I just thought it was a little bit like, I like them. Don't get me jacked up. But I did think it was a little bit like low-hanging fruit. You know what I mean? Like, we could do better than that, Vincent. We really, really can. But then Vincent spoke about like coming home and wanting to be by yourself. Like, you ever, like,
because he don't like her.
He likes her.
No, let's be real, y'all. Like, this narrative that, like, you can't fathom being with somebody.
Y'all wouldn't believe how many people tell me that.
The reason why you can't fathom that being around somebody 24/7 is because you haven't met a person who you want to be around 24/7. That's all it is. It's just very simple. So if you feel like everybody needs, they time to unwind, they time alone or whatever. You might need a minute, which I get that. We both need minutes every now and then. But most of the time, those minutes come in heated arguments.
Right.
Any other time, I want to be around mines all the time, every day, 24/7. Where you at? You supposed to be right next to me, period, right? And that's just because that's how much I like my fiance, right? That's all it is. And if you cannot fathom that, it's because you just haven't met a person who you like that. It's not a foreign thing. It's not the first time that I've seen it. You know what I mean? I've seen it in other couples. I've seen it in older couples and other younger couples. We have a friend of ours that we was just on the Zoom with, Deja. Shout out Deja and Jimmy. When Deja and Jimmy met, they literally met maybe on a Saturday. They were together every day that week, and they've been together every day almost since that year. They've been married now for maybe 2-3 years. And I'm not exaggerating. Because that's how they love each other. They not they love each other. They like each other. They like each other a lot, to the point where they don't think of, I'm just around you 24/7. It's not a thing.
Arduous. Coming home, your home is a soft place to land. Your home is.
I can't wait to get home. Even in a pandemic, being a musician and going from doing a bunch of gigs a year to maybe 2 in a month. I be ready to lead a gig. I can't wait to come home. I only played 1 gig this month, and at 11 o'clock, I'm like, let's go. I'm ready to go home. So it blows my mind how people really can be like, I don't understand how you could be. If that's how you feel already, Vincent, that's an issue.
But even to say it, to say it out loud, to use your words manifest things. To say that out loud, it's just so fascinating.
Y'all supposed to be in honeymoon. Y'all supposed to be, and you already I pull up to the house and I sit in my car.
Right.
You supposed to be 40 years in before you doing stuff
like
that.
We in the house together all day, y'all.
Yeah.
All day. I'm in the bed, key in the front. I be coming to the front can I get a hug? Can I do this? You just talking about, can I get a hug? Let's talk about Virginia and Eric. Eric said Virginia will be working, and I get this, y'all. Don't get me wrong. She might be stressed out. I don't know what she does for a living. Did they say that? Did they say bust down and tell us if they said what she did for a living? But outside of being an alcoholic, full-time job. It's a full-time job. So but he said that he'll come in and just want to hug her during the day, and he was she'll visibly get an attitude, and it's just what. And I know I ask this question probably every time we meet, but what? Why did y'all sign up for this? I'm not an affectionate person, and I'm not if anybody else were to describe me, they would describe me as not affectionate, right? But I'm constantly 4 or 5 times a day. I'm what you doing? Can I get a hug?
Yeah, you're affectionate with me,
right? You know what I mean? And I just don't understand how she can be so physical touch when you meet this stranger.
Yes.
And then when you're in, so physical touch.
Yes, let's sleep together and I don't even know your name.
And let's kiss in the mouth. But then at home, when nobody's around.
Because sex and intimacy are 2 different things. That's why. That's why.
I say that all the time.
And she is, and I think a lot of people got confused on the first night, right? Because we think that somebody sleeping with somebody is all of us. We've been adults now. We all adults here. All of a sudden, though, it feels like this season, if somebody has sex, that's it. They in love and they, it. I don't know, y'all. Where y'all been at?
Because by that logic, you've been in love with the last 10 mother jumpers you done bust down on.
I'm not sure how we got to this place where sex and intimacy is the same thing. And sex means love.
And it doesn't. And also, you guys do not have to rush to be in love. Don't think that because it's going to happen naturally if you continue throughout the process. I feel like Eric is constantly trying to justify him and Virginia's relationship to anybody who'll listen. You saw it. We're doing great. When we first met, it was just sparks. It was this, it was that. And it's
I'm over that.
Bro. Stop
Everything's great. It's so great. She's perfect. I mean,
she's not. She's not. And that's okay. I just feel he gotta pump the brakes on that. I thought he becoming a little too hot with the So I used to know this guy, right? This is so random, but this is what it made me think of. And when I met him, he was always so honest about how he felt. If you said, how you doing? He'd be like, I'm having a fucked up day. This happened. And when I first met him, I thought it was so negative. And it was like, why? Like, why are you like, this is such bad energy. When? And then as I continued on with him, I just was like, you're just being honest about your life and how you're actually feeling in the day. And that is valuable. You know what I mean? Everything is not great all the time. And that's okay. And you also don't have to cloak it like that.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm okay. If you're not okay, you're not okay.
Right.
And that's all right. And I feel like he doesn't understand it. And that's what's mad annoying to me about him. That it's okay that y'all have differences. Because in the same breath, he sat down with his friend and said, yeah, you saw how affectionate and amazing we were and how much chemistry we had. And then was talking about that would be a deal breaker if she can't be. How'd you get all the way there?
Yeah.
If it was so good.
I think he's one of those two that is trying to put on for the cameras. Like, every time we in front of the cameras, everything. I don't know if the guy was from last season or season before last. Excuse me. But he was doing that, where he was like the one guy who they didn't even want to film like any type of drama or any type of disagreement or anything like that. I can't remember his name, but we see people who want to put on for the camera, and he's that guy to me this season.
And that's the only issue with this as it grows and gets bigger. It's like we can't get away from those people who don't actually want to just do it.
Yeah.
Like, you could see how raw the first few seasons were and how people were like, if you ain't feeling it, you ain't feeling it. You sad, you sad.
Right,
you upset, you upset. And now it's like this constant, like, it's a competition about who loves each other the most.
Yeah, and that's
I don't
weak.
think that's cool
That
either.
is so weak, and that just started.
It just
started. I don't know, a couple seasons ago.
Now everybody's so, oh my God, we met each other. It was just so amazing. There was so much chemistry.
Oh my God. Everybody is the first, trying to be the first to be in this euphoric, perfect situation.
And that's not real life.
At all.
I didn't like Joe. When we were very young, and I'm not going, I did not like you at all, Joe.
No,
I did not.
Yes, she did.
No,
she
I
just
did
had
not.
to pump fake.
Why would you lie to
She
these
had to
people?
pump fake because she didn't like that other people liked me. So she had to act like she didn't like me. Oh, I don't know.
No, I really did not like him. Like, he was not even on my radar. Like, that's just...
Yeah, all right.
You know what? Fuck it. So, Virginia and Chris goes on to have their nighttime shindig.
Virginia and Eric. Yeah.
What did I call him? Chris. Virginia and Eric. Sorry, guys.
I'm like, Virginia and Chris, that's new drama. Whoa! Okay.
Virginia and Eric goes on to have their nighttime thing where they bring their friends over and everything like that, which I thought was...
It was weird. Let me tell you this right now. If a boy another grown man ever stepped to me about my woman and give me advice on my woman, a mother jumper that I don't even know, we would not be having a conversation. Like, I couldn't fathom him, how he was still having that conversation after 20-30 seconds in, because I just knew it was about to be weird.
It was so many issues with that, right? Because first of all, you are so unbelievably out of line, and I know part of this is that you want to, if your motivation was to say that her and I aren't dealing with each other at all, like, I just want to make sure that you know that, you ain't say nothing about that. Because I would have just came straight out like, you need to know we are friends. You know what I mean? To even insinuate that he may be controlling or come off controlling, to me was just like, even though his friend did kind of allude to that, like, I don't want you to come off too controlling now. I want you to give enough space to grow. But that's your friend.
That's not your place to say it.
If you don't even know me, how could you allude to that? And you, ho, you my wife, and you running down and telling him on
the guy's couch where you sleeping on. Now I know that y'all talking about me and y'all talking about intimate things, and y'all, it's like, what? And then he thinks enough of your relationship that he could step to me about you. This was a whole nother issue of problems, issues, and violations. I was so flabbergasted at this conversation and how he kept it going. He just kept it going. That's the wild thing to me. As he proceeds to say us in the conversation. The dude had the nerve to tell him, I know you don't know us, but what?
First of all, did y'all see the meme? Or not the meme, the thing. I tagged you in it. But the girl did a reel. I do not know her name, and it's gonna really mess me up. But she's so beautiful, and she has big curly hair. And she the one who did the thing. It doesn't matter. What she said was, these are the reasons my man can have a female friend. And then she just was like... But it was nothing there. Like, but there are no reasons. There are no reasons. I asked you guys to go back to your spouse and tell them the story. And this is what I asked Jazz. Because Jazz, we were all sitting around talking about it. And I'm like, how do you even make a friend of the opposite sex? I went to a party and I was sitting next to a man. Him and I had a great conversation. I even thought in my mind, you know what? I would like to hang out with this guy. Not like a... date him, but just genuinely like, I can see him having our vibing. Do I give him my number? How do that work? You don't give the like, you know what I mean? You should call me sometimes. We should hang out.
No.
That what? Now, mind you, I've done that with women. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you should call me sometime. We should hang out. But it's like, how as an adult are we even making male friends or platonic opposite sex friends? How? It's so hard. Somebody, because even if you don't know in the beginning that person feels platonic about it, right? So you and your intentions may be platonic, but then you say, oh, you should call me sometime. So a motherfucker thinking you shooting your shot.
So my issue, I think the bigger issue here for me is the fact that your friend sees his place in your life. That
like he ain't going nowhere.
He can step to your husband about your relationship and he can advise your husband on how to show up in your marriage. That's my issue. I can't fathom how that right there tells me that your relationship is not okay. Cause I can't imagine any friendship.
But even her, like, friendship. I hope y'all get along. Like, you know, after what you said about male friends and shit like that, it's just like she's so goddamn childish. She really bothers my soul, and she's a goddamn alcoholic. And if we don't,
a child,
and the real tea lifetime is that y'all need to be putting the hotline number up there. If you or anybody you know suffering from alcoholism, you need to call bloop bloop the bloop.
Yes, 100%.
Like, stop playing. This young lady came in, mind you, she came from a wedding, so we're going to give her some grace. But then, continue to drink.
Fresh off the airplane. Grabbed herself a red cup as soon as she got in the joint.
Like, and then it's almost like, to me, she's trying to antagonize Eric. Like, that's what's not real to me about her. She tries to come off like a nice girl. I don't think she is. I think that she's nasty, and she messy. Does... That's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. She does messy things. But I thought it was just outwardly to other people. What's very clear to me is that she does messy things at home as well. Because even for her to say, well, I thought you were going to think that I needed to contact you, like constantly contact you on the phone. Where do y'all get these narratives from? That you are out in the world. He is an extension of me. I am an extension of him. Period. I went to the Rite Aid today. That motherfucker was like, where you at? Like, yeah. Where did you go? You just walked out the house. You can't. It's not because he got to keep tabs on me, but he does have to keep tabs on me.
100%. Because guess what happened if John Wilson can't find her or Angel can't find her? Who would they call? I'm talking about her mother and father. Who would they call? Who? You know what I'm saying? So for them to call me, what I look like? They asked me, what happened? We haven't talked to Zar in a couple hours, and I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, or what like, is that?
She what was life here is that? Hours ago, or whatever the case may be. Like, but the problem I'm having is that a man can come to you and tell you honestly how he feels about certain things, and because he did that and showed up in a manner that was adult-like for anybody to say how he actually feels, and you hear that and take it to the extreme. Oh, you want me to call? You want me to be calling you all the time? Or you want me to? Like,
that's immaturity.
What world do you live in? And how
the
much
bar hopping world?
But how much do it cost you? That's my thing. That's what make you messy, because it don't cost you. It don't cost you nothing. it don't even cost you energy. Because if you like your man, you be out there. Joe be poloing me, dogs running across the street. He just walked out the house. Look at this dog across the street. Whatever. Because it doesn't cost him anything. Like, you know what I mean? To share his life with me.
But it's also not a chore, which goes back to liking the person that you're with.
Exactly.
It's not a chore for me to communicate with you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so if that's how you feel from the jump, you bound to Jersey on. That's the theme for the day.
Oh my God, please stop saying that, child. But I just thought it was really fascinating that Eric had that conversation with him and didn't even check him. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people are just so weak. I didn't mean to say it like that, but wasn't that weak?
Yeah, it was.
Because at the very least, I would have been like, slow down. At the very least, like, you know what? I recognize what you're trying to do.
We'd have just been throwing hands at the
But I recognize what you're trying to do. Don't do that over here. Now go in there and have a good night.
He went in there and said thank you. He said thank you. Like, yes, massa. I will. Whatever you say.
I can't. Let's move on to Haley and Jacob because y'all know we leaving Paige and Chris for last, child. Because
just like Lifetime.
Just like Lifetime do.
It's not a coincidence.
So, Haley and Jacob, I thought Haley sat down with her friend with the big mouth, which I love women with large mouths. I don't know what it is. It's such a beautiful thing to me, though. But she sat down with that young lady, and they had a real honest conversation. I really, really liked it because she just asked her straight up, like, what's going on and what aren't you liking? Like, you know what I mean? So Haley says, I didn't like the 80s stuff, and I didn't like the way he...
Basically, I don't like that he's old.
But the girl checked her. The girl held her accountable. So basically you're saying you don't like the way he dressed. Now what? What's more? What else don't you like?
What she really is trying to pull out of her from looking at it from the outside in is because at this point we've been watching Haley, but her friend hasn't been watching her at the time of the conversation. So in my mind, what she's trying to pull out of her, she's trying to get Haley to say
she don't like
just say you don't like the bull. Because that's really what it is. This is another situation of people not wanting to get castigated online and in the viewership and in the comments. They don't want they want to put out this great representation of who they are and their self and their brand, because everybody got a brand now. And so I think that's at the end of the day, Haley doesn't want to be on tape. Basically saying like, I'm just not into him and I don't like him.
And you know what, guys? That's what's annoying to me. And this is why I always cape for the villain. Because do you know how hard it is to show up in life and be a bad person? You get shamed at every turn.
No, what?
No, hear me out.
Bro.
Hear me out. Certain people.
That's like saying, every time I steal, I get locked up. It's a hard life. Like, look what I gotta go through. Like,
wait. Let me clean it up. Anybody who know me, Joe, my sisters, they always say, you love the villain. But I love the villain or the mean girl on the show or this or that. Because sometimes people are just living in their authentic nastiness. There has to be a Joker so there can be a Batman and Robin. You know what I mean? Like, it's nuance. Like, we have this great dynamic world and we have to have people play certain roles. And my thing is, we don't give enough credit to people who are just being authentically jacked up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care, you don't like it, when. We don't give enough of that. Because I'm saying that to say, because I think Haley is fake. And I think that she is a nasty person. And I think that she has issues with commitment. She doesn't say that. And she's trying to cloak it in this thing where he yelled at me. He did this. He did that. And I don't like it. And I can never connect with him again. And it's like, no, you just don't like him.
But that's what I think it is. Yeah.
Because you're not real enough to be the villain, you gonna say all this fuck shit. But that's what be making people
but you know what? I think
that's not nice.
I think that it's more on how we receive these people. Because when I see somebody,
I love villains.
When I see somebody who is just simply not attracted, it's not an issue for me. It's not a ding on their personality and their life and their existence.
But other people be like, it's colorless.
Other people, exactly.
Yeah.
Other people murder them on the Twitterverse, in the comments, on the YouTube, everywhere, they get slayed. So when they come on shows like this, they are terrified to live in their truth, because it's not okay to live in your truth in this world. It's not okay. Like, you know what I mean? You could be everything else in the world except for honest about how you feel. If you wake up and you feel like a man, you could be a man, you could be a woman, you could be a cat, you can be a dog, you can be this, that, and the third. But if you are just not attracted to somebody on a reality show, you get murdered online about it. And so I think that that's the bigger issue here. We see a parade of this type of situation every season, of people just being scared to just say, like, I'm just not into it. I don't like her. I'm not attracted to her.
Like, but respectfully, there is a way to say the problem is that people, the same people who will say, oh, I'm not attracted to this person or whatever like that, are the same people who looks mean a lot more to them than anything else. Because
but that's not true.
No. I'm saying, if you are in a place where on TV you can say that you are physically... This man told her he was physically unattracted to her so much that it made him want to get a divorce and go back to his last baby. You understand what I'm saying? So if you saying that, you're somebody who... That might mean a lot more to you than...
But sometimes. Because
I
don't want to call people... That's why I'm not saying that you're doing it just to caveat. I don't want to... There's a perception that if you say you're not attracted to somebody, you're shallow. No, and it's just not. Everybody is not attracted to everybody else, and that's just okay. Not saying that you're doing it.
No. I'm not saying that that's the case, but I'm saying look at what we've seen and people's ability to move forward after they've said they aren't attracted to people.
Yes, I agree.
That's what
I just didn't want it to be seen.
I'm talking that, and I'm saying that in that case. It does. You would have to say, like, okay, mentally, for me to get to a place where I say out loud I'm not attracted to somebody, that to me is a big place. You know what I mean?
That's not a big place for me.
And it might not be, right? But aesthetics don't mean as much to me as it does to you.
I don't know that that's true.
It is true, because but no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just because I know you. I'm saying based on me knowing you. Aesthetics don't mean as much to me as it does to you.
Okay.
Okay, can we agree with that? I'm one of those girls.
Yes. We can agree.
If I vibe with you, you could be ugly, fat, tall, whatever, and you ask me out on a date, but we vibing, I'm like, I'm going on a date.
Yeah, because I've seen some of the people she's...
And let me tell you, and everybody has some coin. So he was ugly and rich. But the point is that, you know, like, you do... date people. I date based on vibe, right? And some people do. So when I've met people and I've been like,
and I can't vibe with you if you're not cute.
That's my point.
But I'm not shallow. It's a human. You know what I mean?
Use the word shallow.
No, I'm not saying you did it, babe. I'm saying that's the reason why people like Haley and a bunch of people in the past have not come out and say it, because that's the initial reaction. But some girl on Twitter was doing it to the early on to Chris and somebody from last season, and just off the rip of them saying I'm not attracted to you, they were killing them. Like, they were just evil human beings. And it's like, and you are getting married to a stranger. The chances of you not being attracted to them is literally 50-50.
But the difference is, right, if you go back and watch Jamie and how she treated her husband, even though she knew she wasn't attracted to him, it wasn't good behavior. The problem is that you can't show up in a space with somebody you don't find physically attractive and still treat them with respect. That's the issue.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not saying
and that's what I'm saying.
No. I'm not saying, oh, yeah, I agree there. I'm saying that people jump on you before they even see how you act. Right? Like,
I don't agree with that.
They do.
I don't agree with that.
They do. They do. You can read the comments. Like, as soon as somebody says I'm not attracted, it doesn't matter how they act. They're castigated online.
No. Chris,
you don't.
I'm saying,
but I've
Chris
seen him.
If we're gonna speak about Chris,
this ain't about Chris. I'm talking about from every season that I've watched of this show. Anybody who has even insinuated that they weren't attracted to the other, they were murdered online.
No.
But regardless of how they acted.
No, that's not true. Think about... I'm about to name you 4 people. Think about the people who actually said these things. They weren't physically attracted to their spouses. And then go back and think about how in that
people
same
didn't unjustly castigate people online?
Episode, I'm not saying that. I'm saying in that same
That's what I'm saying, though. That's
episode. In that same episode, Let's talk about how they treated that person.
I'm not talking about those people, babe. I'm saying that I'm agreeing with you.
Because you got to give, I'm agreeing with you. I'm not saying married at first sight. You have to give me evidentiary support.
And I can't because I don't see.
I'm speaking about the people that I've seen.
And I'm saying I can't give you dates and facts. I can't because I didn't write this stuff down, right? And so what I'm saying is I just remember these instances where we're in episode 1, so you don't know how this person is treating the person. We're in episode 1 or we're in episode 0, and this person sees the person and they say, initially, I'm not really into it. Or they don't say it straight out, but you can kind of tell, like, they're not into it. They're not attracted to that person. I go on Twitter and I see them getting roasted. That's what I'm saying. And I'm saying that not only have I seen it on this show, but I've seen it on other shows. It's a culture thing. Like, we have a thing in culture where people, I'm not saying that you do it, but I'm saying I for sure have seen it on Twitter. You know, I'm way heavy on Twitter.
Yeah, I know.
So, and I'm saying, and I'm saying that I see it all the time on various different shows. I see people get murdered.
People will try to make an excuse.
They'll call you a colorist. They'll call you racist. Yeah. They'll say you're shallow. They'll say you're this, that, and the third because they have some type of trigger or conviction of somebody not being attracted to them or something. I don't know what it is. But before we even see the works of this person and how they are, a lot of people that watch the show and comment on the show, they destroy people. They destroy people early and often when they're honest and upfront about what their attraction is to the person. I agree that you got to show up if you're going to be on the show. You not being attracted to them doesn't give you carte blanche to treat them like shit.
That's all I'm saying.
But I'm not disputing that. So I just want that to be clear. I'm not disputing that. I'm talking about a very different case that is a problem. It's everybody doesn't treat the people like you do.
I think that's the age that we're in.
And it's just not okay.
Everybody got an opinion on everything. But we were saying all of that to say that Haley just is not being honest about how she's actually feeling, and it's making it hard for everybody around. Her girlfriend sat in Haley's husband's face, Jacob, and said, this girl's a commitment phobe. I've known her since freshman year in college. I've never seen her with anybody. That's a red fucking flag. I don't care what anybody says.
And that's a production issue to me.
That's a red flag. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
because y'all knew that about her.
Right.
And this is a long line of people just putting these couples together and ratings.
And not to say that people who, let's be clear, y'all, and I know it's a lot of single people out there. I'm not saying that. If you haven't dated for a long time, she's 28. Freshman year probably was like, 10 years ago?
It's not that. It's the you have an issue with commitment. If all I got to do is talk to one of your friends and your friends like, she has commitment issues. It doesn't matter how long. You could have dated last month.
Yeah.
If you got commitment issues, if you're just not ready to be married, which is not a demerit on you as a person. If you're just not ready to be married, then you're just not ready to be married.
But can we also, going back to looks for just a second, you guys signed up to be married at first sight. You could not have thought you was going to have to pick a letter.
They all do. I think they all think that.
You could not have thought your desperate ass went down there, signed up to marry a stranger. You have no idea who this human being, and you thought you was going to get Nicki Minaj or Beyonce or somebody.
I think they all think that it's not going to happen to me. I'm not going to be with the person who I'm not attracted to.
And not to say that you desperate. Don't get me jacked up, y'all. But like,
you married.
You gotta have a.
You're married to a complete stranger. That's.
You gotta have a tinge.
Yeah, that's desperate.
A tinge.
To a complete stranger?
A tinge. You don't gotta be. I think.
And it's not in your culture. You know, Indian culture is very normal.
Trust the process.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, this is a complete stranger and this is not tradition for you.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, manage your expectations, y'all. Like,
that's the thing. The chances of you not liking this person is a coin. It's literally a coin flip. It's a coin flip.
Oh my God, we're going on that hour. I'm sorry, yo. We do this all the time. We be just as long as the goddamn show. Let's talk about Paige and Chris. Let me tell y'all something. The best part of this episode, I'm going to be honest. I'm tired of Chris. However, the best part of this episode was when he was sitting down with the pastor. That was the first time I ever seen anything like that with black men.
The best part.
In my life.
To be honest, that wasn't even a great part of the episode to me because I feel like they was putting on for the cameras.
I did not. Do y'all think that the pastor was putting on?
100%. For you to tell him, go back to her.
No, that's not what he said. What he said
He
was...
said you need to go back to Paige because Paige is a diamond.
No. He was trying to... I don't think he was telling him to go back. What I think he was trying to get him to see is the error in his ways, and that he keeps making brash decisions without considering how it will affect other parties.
He was doing that and telling her that he should not get a divorce.
Because he got married. He told him that because he a pastor and he married him, and he said, it's not even about your covenant with me. It's about your covenant with God. You're supposed to be all about the Lord.
He screwed. My issue is that you can give him his lashes without telling him continue to go ruin this girl's life, because that's not sound advice. Go back to Paige is not sound advice. I don't care if you're a pastor, a priest, whatever you are, it's not sound advice. So that to me was putting on for the camp. You went too far, bro. Because nobody would tell him go back to Paige, especially after all the fuck shit that we seen him do.
Wait a minute. We have that visual, right? So we got to keep, number one, we got to keep in mind, we have the omniscient point of view. So we can see everything, right? The pastor may not have all the knowledge that we have. That's number one. Number two.
Y'all, we're not going to do this. No, they know.
Hear me out. They know him for his works. So when he sat him down before they even got married and said, you need to make sure everything is closed. You don't bring nothing into... He knew what that was code. I know you got the situation that you just got up out of. You need to make sure that's handled before you come in here. I think he gave him he said some real stuff based on the knowledge that he had and based on knowing him. Based on knowing you, I know.
Based on knowing him, he should not have told him to go back to his.
But that's why I think he knows him, because he's saying you make stupid ass decisions.
Which can be true, but still don't tell him to go back to Paige. Because going back to Paige is not going to make none of this better.
But first of all, for Paige, it might. Okay, that's number one.
This is our problem all season, because Paige is down. We were the sound minds. Don't you turn into Paige.
I'm not saying
Paige, you should have left, Paige. You should have been left. You should have left in week 1. You should have been out in week 1. When this boy told you day 1 of meeting you that you wasn't his type and he not used to dealing with girls that look like you and all of this stuff, you should have been like. Then he came back on the honeymoon and told you that he had a baby with somebody else. You should have left again.
Who don't look pregnant, but I ain't gonna shame nobody for not being pregnant. That she must look good, child.
That's a whole nother situation. But our issue with Paige was that she kept allowing this to happen because she kept going back. Just like her going to this meeting. She should have... For what you going to go to the meeting for? She going to get her power back. You going to get your power back going to meet with him and his woman?
My thing is that we're not... I hear what you're saying about the pastor and them. The pastor says something very real. Chris, you could really learn something from commitment. What that says to me is that is something that he lacks, and that he starts things and he does not finish them, and he is
which is clear.
He literally used the words, "Oh, you switching them out."
Yes, which is clear.
Which means I know you for your works, which is why I think that you're making a piss poor decision. Not because I know Paige, but because I know what it takes to stand the course. Sometimes when you make a decision, you got to live with the decision.
You need to work on commitment, not with Paige.
But he's saying that. First of all, I don't think that Paige should be hurt any longer. I want to be clear.
100%.
I want to be clear.
Let's not try to.
But I'm saying I understand.
Because I'm agreeing with everything else you're saying.
I'm saying I don't fault him for what he's saying, because I also don't think he has the knowledge that we have.
And we just gonna disagree too. We gonna agree to agree, because it ain't no way that he don't know all of this information. The bad acting that's going on. Pastor Kyle
he looked like he was acting.
It was bad acting. Everybody like, oh, she was pregnant. Everybody, oh my God, like, come on, bro. They was cool. They friends. He made it very clear in the early episodes where the pastor was introducing him that he was more than a pastor. He was a friend to him. He made it very clear that.
That don't mean all your friends know all your business.
I'm not saying that.
You just had a friend just call you and tell you the same damn thing out of nowhere, and you were surprised. So how you gonna say that?
But I don't.
I don't had a friend.
No, but I don't. But I don't consider him in that vein, right? So if I have a whole baby, that would be like if I bring somebody who kick it with every weekend. That boy he doesn't live in the same state as me. But it's very clear that y'all kick it. Y'all hang out regularly, right? So this whole thing that all of this just arose. First of all, you knew that him and the fiance wasn't really broke up because y'all have been a close-knit situation where he knew the fiance and all this other stuff way before the show even started. So this whole narrative that all of this stuff is just happenstance is BS. It's not true. Okay. This whole thing did not just happen on the show. Let me stop falling. 100%. It did not just happen on the show. It didn't. The friends didn't. You think they friends didn't know that him and the old fiance was still dealing?
Oh hell yeah!
Come on, man. Oh, sorry. Everybody is so super surprised and everybody clutching their pearls for the camera. Stop it, y'all not gonna keep pissing on my head and tell me it's raining. It's not true. Come on, like it's not. This is reality TV, y'all.
It is, and that's my only issue with this. The idea, I don't want to really talk about the ex being there or anything like that because I felt like it was such a non-factor. She's a non-motherfucking factor. I don't understand why the fuck she on this show, and I mean that respectfully, and I know I'm dropping the F-bomb a lot, and I apologize, but somebody really explained to me why her ass was even there. Sis, we didn't need to see you. We don't really give a fuck about you.
It was ratings.
And that's really, like...
That's why she was there.
But my thing is, like, we don't care. Like, you know what I mean? The real tea is that you... First of all, you look stupid too. Sitting on the couch with this mahjong. You look just as dumb as she do.
You look stupid because you shouldn't have showed up. Like for what? What you gonna
go talk to? What the hell you show up for? Because you wanted to be seen. So you then we know you for your work.
You wanted to be seen,
and that's why we gonna pay you dust.
Which is why
you're very dusty out.
Which is why Chris even broached the situation so that we can be seen. I need to bring my woman so we could be seen. That's why he did it.
He ruined her.
What else is the point of having a sit down with a woman who you told point blank you don't want to be with no more?
He ruined her.
For what? Why do y'all need to clear the air? What air?
He ruined her. And her life worth, whatever net worth, life worth, whatever self worth was so much higher prior to the situation. Sis, some things just got to be a mystery. We don't need to. You don't have to appease every answer, everybody's everything. We did not need to. We didn't need that sit down. It was so
pointless.
Was so abhorrent.
It was so pointless.
It was so pointless and abhorrent.
And nobody looked good in it. Paige didn't look good in it. The fiance didn't look good in it. Chris didn't look good in it. And she's smiling like she got the upper hand. Like what?
You look just as fucking stupid.
And
you too cute to be looking so dumb. It's just like I don't get it.
My thing.
And like she feeling bad for Paige. We feel bad for you.
No. My thing was everybody. Paige smiling, Paige smiling like she took her power back or something. Like she don't still look dumb in it. So why did you even show up, Paige? The fiance shouldn't have shown up. The fiance
didn't cheat. He didn't cheat. He was single. Why are you even a part of this? Why would you even sign up for that? Y'all hoes be out here wanting to be seen so bad.
That's what it was about.
Sis, get a fucking YouTube channel. Just film your life and leave us the fuck alone.
The thing is,
we trying to watch
the thing that really goes into this before we wrap is that Mercedes, the fiance, she cleared her digital footprint before the show aired. Right? So you can't get me to believe that was a coincidence. Right? That she cleared her digital footprint thinking that her and Chris was no more and she just gonna go and live her life. How many friends do you know that's in their early 30s just wiping off their social, just clearing everything? Especially somebody, her profession is in sports media. So she wants to be an analyst. She want to be Stephen A. Smith. She want to be Skip Bayless.
Taylor Rooks.
She want to be Taylor Rooks, right? Imagine Taylor Rooks just wiping her social media pages away. It wouldn't make sense. So you can't get me to believe that this sit down wasn't planned before the show even started so that y'all can get the viewership to drag this thing out. The same way y'all keep having Paige and Chris meet up, and we seen that episode they're gonna meet up again for some dumbass reason. So the same reason why y'all dragging this storyline out, y'all knew that y'all was gonna drag the fiance into it, and the big reveal was to be, let's see the fiance. Let's see what she looked like. Because everybody was already, you knew
they had to know.
They had to know.
You absolutely right. They had to know. It was far too produced. even the entire narrative and how it unfolded was far too pretty.
And they knew that if we could find out who she was before y'all brought her on the show, then we would just probably not watch that episode. Like, you know, like people,
right, because we don't need
we already seen it.
And also, what people fail to realize, it's a lot of couples watching this show. A lot of couples. Like, women ain't watching this by themselves.
No,
they
not at
sitting
all.
around too and watching it as well, right? And the real tea is that don't nobody want that energy in their house. They not watching Married at First Sight for the cheating, you dogging somebody out energy.
No,
that's not why we watching it, y'all. No. That's not. We want to see people fall in love. It brings up like love conversations.
Right. My favorite moment of Married at First Sight is Woody and Woody and Imani. Woody and fiance. Well, it's Woody and Imani. That's my favorite. That's my favorite part of the show. Is Woody and Imani of any season. Is Woody and Imani.
Right, so there you go. We ain't trying to watch it cause y'all got some drama and shit on there.
Yeah, this is not Love and Hip Hop. I stopped watching Love and Hip Hop a long time ago because it was too messy.
You're very dusty. We want nothing to do with it. Somebody come through with the mop and glove.
Stop bringing Chris and Paige back on. Let it die. Let it die. Don't nobody tell him to go back to her and do this and don't do none of that. Tell Chris to go work on Chris and tell Paige to go
home.
Work on Paige.
Go home.
Please.
Go home. All right. So I guess we're done. We love you guys. Thank you guys for joining us again. Talking about Married at First Sight. I hope you come on back. Bust down. We want to know all your thoughts. How you feeling? Did you think it was a very dusty moment or not? Because I thought it was dusty as hell.
Yes.
And I guess we'll see you beautiful mother jumpers later. Peace. Bye.